Hello guys, today we will start with the glucose transport mechanism. There is two types of the glucose transport, or two ways to transport the glucose. First is facilitated, and second is active transport. Also known as GLUTs, glucose transporters. These are the sodium independents, bidirectional, along the concentration gradient. Best or main way to transport glucose. And after this I'm gonna deal with the active transport. Sodium glucose import, also known as sodium glucose import, SGLT, sodium glucose transporter. Unidirectional in nature. And against the concentration gradient, mainly present in the intestine and kidney. That's the two types of SGLT, sodium glucose transporter, the 1, and sodium glucose transporter 2. Type 1 located in intestine as well as kidney, help in transport of glucose as well as galactose. And sodium glucose transporter 2 are basically located in the kidney, help in the glucose transport. After this, I'm gonna deal with the how sodium glucose import gonna work within a cell. So this is a very important concept. If this is a cell, and here the import pathway or sodium potassium ATPases, and here are the sodium, here are the glucose transport. So within this transport system, to transport the glucose, there is no consumption of ATP, but still use of 1 ATP occur. How? The ATP used to throw out this sodium again out of the cell. So at this concept, one question is frequently used to ask, why sodium, the transport of the glucose through the sodium glucose import mechanism is known as the secondary active transport. Because here the glucose is not transported by consuming ATP, but indirectly it's use ATP to transport itself within the cell to work the sodium potassium ATPase pump. So this is called the active transport. but secondary nature. And there is another concept. Glucose is have to be trapped in the cell. So the phosphorylation of the glucose is very surely done within the as it once reached within the cell. To, as you see in the glycolysis, glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate by use of the enzyme hexokinase or glucokinase. So it is very necessary because the black flow of the glucose is very rapid. So we have to be phosphorylated to stabilize this glucose particle within the cell. After this, we will go and deal the modes of the transport of the facilitated, how it's going to work, the type of the GLUTs, glucose transporter. So one by one we will deal with this. GLUTs type, basically 4. So one by one we will deal. GLUT 1. It's work mainly in the fasting state. Mainly in the fasting state. Work as well in the fat state too, but there's another other GLUTs not going to work in the fasting state, so it's work in both and fasting and the fat states. So it's work in the fasting state. It's present in some vital organ that's going to work in fasting state too, like brain, RBC, placenta, because the asparity process of the fetus totally depends on the placenta, so, and kidney. So the gluten are found over these brain, RBC, placenta, and kidney. Now after this, GLUT2, glucose transporter 2. It's work in the fat state, right? Present in its in intestine and work in absorption. And liver, it helps in the glycogen formation by transporting the glucose. In pancreas, it helps in the insulin secretion, and it's also present in the kidney. So after this, we will go with the GLUT3. Right. So I'll go work in the fasting state. And its location is mainly concerned with the brain, placenta, and kidney. So here these are the GLUT1, GLUT2, GLUT3. After this, we will deal with the GLUT4s. GLUT4 basically activate by insulin. Actually, what is the sequence? How it's gonna activate? Suppose a person is in a fat state. So in fat state, there is increase in the concentration of glucose in blood because we eat carbs and other saccharides that form the glucose in the blood system. So because of this, it's just when it enter after this, GLUT2 gonna activate and just open GLUT2 and its glucose enter in the pancreas, right? And pancreas, that's the when pancreas beta cell gonna stimulate, it will secrete the insulin. So as insulin secreted, in the blood, we are very concerned about it. We are very sorry about it that GLUT4 is activated by the insulin. So GLUT4 gonna open. So GLUT4 gonna open, the glucose gonna absorbed by the peripheral tissue, right? So GLUT4 has hypoglycemic condition. Right. One more thing. As in diabetic patient, there is no insulin or there is less insulin secretion. Decrease insulin. So GLUT4 not gonna work, right? GLUT4 not gonna activate. So this causes a hyperglycemia. And you know, the peripheral, there is a more glucose in the blood flow or the blood system, hyperglycemia will occur. The peripheral tissue will go in the fasting state. fasting state. So very often we can say the diabetic patient and the person with a fasting condition is almost the same. One more thing I want to discuss. That's how the intestinal cells absorb through sodium glucose transport 1, and how it's just transport the glucose in the blood vessels through the bilateral membrane. So in intestinal cell, so it's an intestinal cell, right? SGLT1, and here is the GLUT2. These are the lumen. As per glucose enter through it, this is the parietal membrane. Bilateral membrane. Blood vessels. So glucose through the lumen, from the lumen to intestinal cell, is transported through SGLT1 and through intestinal cell to the blood vessel, transport through GLUT2. So these are the main ways how the glucose transport within the cell. With the medical aspect, these things are so important, how the GLUT system work in the transport of the glucose. So this is with this video, and if you have any problem, comment below. Just like, subscribe and share this video. Thank you so much.